Hello, this is Joe Sonona with Sonona Speaks Seminars, and this is Coffee Talk with the listing pros in real estate. And my guest this week is Stephen King of Realty Connect. Hello, Stephen. Finally,
Hey.
I got the king of the hill here.
How are you? Thank you for having me. I'm very excited.
No problem, no problem. How you doing? How's business? Tell me a little bit about yourself. The whole audience wants to know who is the king of Suffolk County.
I'm good. I'm blessed. I'm spoiled and grateful beyond belief. Um, I've been busy as hell. Obviously, we all know the market is absolutely insane, and we've got a couple listings right now where it's just, by the time I'm done with this interview, I'm gonna have 15 voicemails that I'm gonna have to go through and spend an hour getting back to, and I'm grateful for that. That's what we get into the business. That's the position we get into the business to be in.
Right? Isn't that like a famous Godfather quote? This is the business we have chosen, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I'm very blessed and fortunate. Um, the 3D printed house has been kicking my butt. There's no way to prepare for the amount of activity on something like that. But we have a buyer. Contracts are being drawn up right now. We're gonna, make a video about that. We're gonna introduce everybody to the buyers, let them see
Nice,
the
nice.
process, which is cool.
We'll get
Um,
to that in a second with our technology question. I want to know more about who you are
sure.
and how did
Um,
you get into this crazy business?
So I was supposed to go to NYU Polytech for mechanical engineering after high school. And 3 weeks before I was supposed to go, I found out I could not get the loan. It's a $60,000 a year school. I didn't qualify. My parents didn't make enough money to qualify. I don't come from a family of money. And I was bummed out. I was like, uh-oh, I'm not going to go to college. I'm going to be a loser, yada, yada, yada. And but then I got really fired up and motivated, and I was like, you know what? Next year I'm going to qualify on my own. I'm going to spend this year working my tail off, so that way I can go to college and go to NYU and pay for it myself. And during that year, I started self-educating and reading some business books. I started reading some real estate books, and I was like, holy crap, I'm getting ready to make a massive, massive mistake. I was getting ready to go $250,000 in debt to go learn how to work for someone else, when ultimately I didn't want to work for somebody else, and I decided not to go. And in that interim, I had gotten an opportunity to do foreclosure inspections for banks. As a 19-year-old kid, it's a self-employed job. So I started doing foreclosure inspections, making $3 a house for every inspection I
Wow,
did.
wow.
And within a year, I was the third inspector in the company, doing about 100 houses a day at 19. So I was making money, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to start investing this money into real estate. And I figured the best way to learn about real estate to prepare for investing would be to become a real estate agent. So I got my license. I started doing the business part time on the side for 3 to 4 years while I was doing my inspection business. And eventually I realized, I was like, you know what? I'm limited with my inspection job. On the best day, I could do 120 inspections. So I will never make more than $360 a day doing this inspection work. It's not scalable.
Good for
And,
you.
and I was like, you know what? I'm going to jump into real estate full time. And that's exactly what I did. I jumped in because I know it's a scalable business. I could be in multiple places at once just from this phone we have here. You and I are in a live production audience right now, whatever. We're like in a
That's
production
right.
studio, just right from the phone. So and that's how I started doing real estate full time. And this will be my fourth full time year.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. So let me ask you the biggest loaded question you're probably going to hear of in your career. What is the secret sauce to listing real estate the way you do?
Oh man, there's so much to it. I think it started from, it starts from learning from good mentors and getting the best sound advice and finding advice that you connect with. And then once you have that blueprint and that advice to work off of, actually taking action and following it. So my mentor in the business told me to pick one area and become the best person in that area, become the most knowledgeable person, the most knowledgeable expert in that area, get involved in everything. And that's exactly what I did. And I stayed persistent. I stayed consistent. And 4 years later, it's taken me to an amazing place. And actually, from getting involved so much, I've developed a passion for being involved with my community. And that's given me just as much reward as real estate has, getting involved in the day-to-days of your communities.
So having a sphere of influence, getting to be known as the person in the community, that's your secret sauce.
Yep.
That's
Dedicating
awesome.
The time. Yes.
That is great.
Thank you.
A lot of new agents that are coming into the business, they don't know this type of stuff. They don't know that, they don't teach this kind of stuff in real estate school. As a real estate instructor, I always tell them that you should surround yourself with a ton of people in your community, get to be the market expert, get to be that person that will, know more about your community than anybody else knows about. And you having stepped up to that challenge, and now people in what's your community that people actually say, "Hey, Stephen, how are you? Hi, Stephen, how are you?" And you're the mayor of the town. What's that community? Where are you? Patchogue.
Yep.
Oh, so you have direct competition with my other friend. Is that your mentor?
Who's that? Which one is that?
Kyle Kelly himself?
No, Kyle Kelly works with Realty Connect. My mentor actually is John Fitzgerald and Michael Ardolino. Michael Ardolino up in North Shore. He's the one who really sat me down and explained the business to me in a way that clicked with me.
That's great. That's great. And I know Kyle Kelly and you and I are friends, and that's why I mentioned him on this program. And I know you also in the top 20 under 40 of YPN for the Long Island Board of Realtors. Whoa, did I knock you off your socks yet?
You're knocking me off my feet. Yeah, sorry about that.
No problem. This is what it's about, right? We're having fun. So I know you're in the top 20 and you were honored there, but you also have another announcement we're going to get to in a second. And I just want to continue on with the questions before I get sidetracked.
Sure.
What is your advice? So your advice to young people is to get them all into the community, get to be known. What is your advice to older agents in the business? Like me, I've been in the business 32 years now, and what would be your advice to someone older in the business? Let's say 6 years in, 10 years in, 15 years in. If you could talk to them and say, "Hey, can I give you some advice?"
I love that question. I don't think it doesn't get asked enough, and it's a very valuable question. In my opinion, learn technology and start stepping outside of your comfort zone. Right now, the world of marketing is social media. And the older generations have a much more difficult time becoming fluent in social media because, they didn't build their business off of social media. They built their business using different tools. But now the process of learning social media is, they got to come back down to the bottom of the ladder. Hello?
Right. Yes. Yeah, I can hear you.
And learn things from scratch.
That's correct.
I myself learn on a daily basis new things about social media. It's such an evolving platform that if you're not constantly involved and on top of it, you will get left behind, or you're going to make it.
Now, Stephen, in full disclosure, right? Mm-hmm. How did we meet?
Social media. Social media.
And that's how I got to know you, through your social media pages. And I said, this guy is interesting. This guy is, and then you were, and that's how we met, in full disclosure to our audience. Yeah. So social media, getting updated on technology, that's very good advice for older people in the business. A lot of people just use the old techniques of door-to-door knocking and calling spheres of influence. But even myself, using this program, social media, to broadcast to a greater audience of new agents in the business, even existing agents in the business. It has certainly branded me here as well as an older agent in the business. And a lot of older agents don't realize the power of this. This is a great power. Well, not to say that the old techniques don't work. They still do.
You're 100% correct. And people build phenomenal businesses just off of door knocking. But the way I look at it is I can make one post on social media for free. And if 1,000 people see it, I have just door knocked on 1,000 doors.
Exactly. That's my favorite 4-letter word, free. So no, you're right. You're 100% right. And using those older techniques is great, but you got to get out there and you got to be so unafraid of being in front of the camera. But I told somebody the other day, I'm like, you're an old timer like me in the business, but all of our clientele is either dead or relocated so far. And you can't resurrect the dead, and you can't ask the old clientele to move back to New York because nobody wants to move here anymore, except for the people that we're moving right now. But no, I think that you're dead on 100% right about that. And kudos to you for discovering that there are other means of networking. Tell me, if you had to give some advice to a broker or manager today, what do you think that would be in a post-COVID world? Or we're still in a COVID world, but a post-COVID coming out of COVID world?
I would run every single one of my agents through an on-video boot camp. The most difficult, uncomfortable thing about social media and making videos is, the first time you step in front of a camera, you freeze up, you lock up, you're like, I don't know what to say. I don't want to sound stupid. I don't want to look stupid, and get over it. You got to go through that wall. The expert in anything was once a beginner, and you have to be comfortable of just do it. Break through your comfort zone and go for it. So I would have all of my agents step in front of a camera and make a video once a week in my office until they are ready and comfortable being in front of a camera.
I did this with my team last week. I said, give me your best 20-second elevator speech. Because you got to get in front of somebody as a for sale by owner or even a buyer on a buyer consultation. And you got to give them a little bit of an opening about who you are. And I got to tell you, that was probably one of the hardest exercises beyond role play, right, that my team has ever had to do. And I gave them that as an assignment. I said, that's your ongoing assignment, is to give me 20 seconds of your best pitch. And they didn't expect that out of me. And I think that a lot of people, consumers in general, need to know who we are. They don't know who we are. They're painting us sometimes with one brush, and that's the brush that they feel, realtors should be. But, in this day and age where there's social media and where you and I are able to bring out more of our personalities and more of our human side, I think that really is important. Tell me, do you use special technology to market your listings? What do you use to, and you could talk about that 3D project that you're on.
Sure. I use social media to market all my listings. And fortunately, we're in a day and age, we're in a time period right now where you don't need much marketing skill, in all honesty, to sell a house. You do need marketing skill to sell yourself to your community. But in terms of technology, I create a personality around my listings by using social media. That's my form of marketing.
Nice. Very nice. And do your clients respond, your sellers respond, or do they want more? Like some of my clients still want me to advertise in a newspaper. And I tell them, you got the wrong guy, buddy. Newspapers are dead for me.
I'll tell you, my clients have such a repertoire of me before we even sit down that they trust me fully. And that's the best type of client, the client who just trusts you to run with what you're doing. And I find that because most of my clients know of me from my past social media marketing, they already know I'm the expert. I come in, they say, Steve, here are the keys. Do what you have to do.
Come on, it's not that easy to list a house. Come on. You mean to tell me you sit down and the people say, where do I sign?
I sit down.
Come on. You got to do some work for this.
I sit down, I educate them on the process from start to finish, what they're going to expect.
That's good.
What expenses they're going to incur and what they can expect to walk away with. But most of my clientele is referral based. So they know of me, which is.
How do you drum up new business when, let's say, you're not getting a referral business? How do you drum up the new business? I mean, this day and age where we're limited to what we could do by the state of New York, how are you drumming up new business?
I don't want to sound like a broken record, but social media. I have a full-time videographer. I pay him to constantly follow me around with a camera and just create content. So creating content on social media is a full-time job. And that's where a lot of people fall off the wagon. You may start creating content, but then you realize how much work goes into it. And then you stop creating content and you might as well be dead on social media now. So the fact that I'm constantly out there for my audience, they always know who I am, what I do, where I work in service, and it does my job for me, in essence, in branding. So all of my clientele, about 95% of it is referral based. That's it. And referral based off of social media, believe it or not. So the way I get listing leads is somebody's going to message me after a post with a question. Hey, Steve, I'm thinking about selling. Would you mind coming to take a look? Or a buyer lead. Hey, Steve, I see all the information you're putting out there. I'm looking to learn a lot more. I'm just starting out. I sit down with them, go over the first-time home buying meeting, and that's all of my business. Pretty much 100% of it. I don't door knock. I don't cold call. It's not the business model I have built. I'm all referral based, which is a luxury in a way.
Good for you. Good for you. And I know that we've had several guests on this program that have given away their secret sauce and they've given away their business models. And yet I still see that new agent, that new person coming into the business, still struggling to get their business off the ground. Any thoughts on that?
And also networking. When I'm getting involved with my community, the social media is the digital stuff. But I'm also very, very active. Probably 40% of my time is donated away to just community activism, getting involved in groups, getting involved in the neighborhood, and meeting people. And in doing that, I have actually come across the biggest opportunity of my career, which was the 3D printed house. That connection was established through the community work that I do. So for those agents who are just starting out, social media and getting involved in your local groups, your Kiwanis Club, your local Lions Club, Rotary Club. You got to get out there and establish a group of guys, and then those guys, eventually one of them is going to trust you with the sale of their home. And boom, now you start marketing the crap out of that. You can make a funny video out of it. There's so much content you could do.
I've been a Lion in the Lions Club now 27 years, and I have to tell you that it served me very well. And we do a lot of worthwhile projects during the year. We raise money for the blind and the Seeing Eye Dogs, the Guide Dog Foundation. It's definitely something every realtor should do, is give back to their community. When I was public relations chair for LIBOR, we started We're the More Than Just Realtors campaign. Mm-hmm. And we wanted to show our communities that we do more than just sell real estate. So good for you that you mentioned that. Say, I got a question for you. It's a loaded question. It's along the fiduciary duties of real estate.
Okay.
So if I had to give you a choice between one of those fiduciary duties of old CAR, as I say in acronym, obedience, loyalty, disclosure, confidentiality, accountability, or reasonable care, which one would you, Stephen King, pick and why? If you had a choice between one, I know they're all important, but which one would you pick and why?
I would have to say it's between loyalty, disclosure, and obedience. But I would say the crowning jewel of that would probably be loyalty, because in loyalty, the rest of that all follows suit. Loyalty gives you disclosure, and loyalty gives you obedience. Because if you're truly loyal to your client and you're handling your client as if it's you or your family member, every correct action will follow suit stemming from that. So I would say loyalty is the best one, Adam, in my opinion.
Thank you. Thank you for answering that. A lot of agents kind of struggle with those, So I want to summarize or give you a little summary of this program, but I think we're going to go into too long. But I want to give you a nice plug, a shameless plug. It's not shameless. It should be something you should be proud of. Stephen has been chosen to be a recipient in the top 30 under 30 for the National Association of Realtors, along with my good friend as well, who's also been featured here, Josh Benitez. That both of them are in like this. One of them will probably be selected to be in the top 30 under 30, and I wanted to wish you well on that. Some thoughts on that nomination?
Thank you. That's it's amazing. You know what? That nomination is all comes down to 5+ years of really hard work, and it all boils down into that nomination. So it's really amazing to see. I wish Josh the best of luck, and that nomination, I'm actually, from my understanding, is my community work and the 3D printed home is essentially what is putting me on the map the most. And the 3D printed home.
Talk about that. What is exactly the 3D printed home?
So I met with the owner of the company about 3.5 years ago. And at the time, this was still a concept. He was still just coming up with an idea of 3D printing a house. And he's a local guy in Patchogue, and he wanted to pick the brain of a young professional in the area. Now, I'm the chairman and co-founder of the Patchogue Young Professionals, which is a networking group that's a committee of the Chamber of Commerce. So naturally, he had connected with me just to pick my brain on how a younger audience would receive this type of technology. Me being a realtor and a younger realtor, I naturally just gravitated towards it and latched onto it. So much so that the founder, the builder, ended up becoming a very, very dear, close personal friend of mine. We've built a great relationship. He's a mentor of mine as well. He invests in real estate. He's a very wealthy man that's done very well for himself. And I was involved in the process of going around to the municipalities to find a municipality that was going to issue a C of O on such a new concept. One of the most difficult parts of 3D printing a house is finding a municipality or a town, a village, a city that's going to put their name on the line for such a brand new technology. We met with the town of Brookhaven, village of Patchogue. We met with a couple of other different municipalities until we eventually met with the town of Riverhead. We sat down with the building officials and all of them, proposed the idea, and they loved it. And thankfully from that, they allowed us to 3D print the first ever home to be sold with a CO in the country.
That's very interesting. Very interesting. And when is this going to be built?
They're going to start building in like 20 minutes. No, I'm kidding. No, really though, probably within a couple of weeks.
In a couple of weeks.
Sorry, I didn't cut out there. Did I?
No, a couple of weeks. That's great.
Yeah, they'll start printing probably late March, and we should be finished with a home ready to be delivered in early June.
Oh, that's awesome. That is very awesome. I wish you good luck with that. Well, listen, we're running out of time. I want to thank you for being on this program. Any final thoughts for our audience out there?
I love it. Keep connecting the real estate community and allowing us to learn from each other through resources like this. So thank you.
You got it. You got it. Thank you so much for being on the program, Stephen King. This is Joe Sonona with Sonona Speaks Seminars saying thank you to our listening audience today. By the time we air this program, it'll probably be past St. Patrick's Day, but may the luck of the Irish and may the luck of your fortunes come to meet you and rise above you. And may God hold you in the palm of his hand.
Thank you,
Stephen, you have a wonderful career ahead of you. I wish you good luck.
Thank you very much.
You got it. Have a good day, everyone.